Nothing seems to be working out for Peter Parker. The world thinks Spider-Man worked with Kingpin to steal a tablet, the Kingpin escaped from prison, and when he got angry at Jonah, he may have killed him. Then, mid-mope, his roommate Harry comes home, while Peter is still in his Spider-Man costume. Peter is able to grab a dressing gown to disguise most of his superheroic alter ego, and he prays that Harry just doesn't look down at his Spider-Man socks. We're reading every Spider-Man ever, and this is the Amazing Spider-Man issue 71, The Speedster and the Spider. Fortunately for Peter Parker, Harry is too exhausted from dancing with Mary Jane, and he retires to bed before discovering who his housemate really is. Relieved, Peter remembers that he has photographs of his fight with the Kingpin that may exonerate Spider-Man. It looks like things are looking up for Peter Parker, until Quicksilver races into town. We're quickly caught up on his story, pun absolutely intended, and we learn that he, the Scarlet Witch and Toad have been made to look evil thanks to Magneto's actions. To clear their names, Quicksilver races to New York to tell the Avengers, but finds that they're all in Africa. Looking for an alternate way to prove his innocence, and hearing of Spider-Man's crimes, Quicksilver decides to take the webcrawler down. Meanwhile and elsewhere, Robbie Robertson is visiting Jonah in hospital. It turns out that he's not dead, he just had a shock and needs a few weeks of bed rest. And that few weeks of bed rest means that Robbie is in charge of the Bugle, and so when Peter arrives the next day with photos to sell that show Spider-Man fighting the Kingpin, Robbie not only puts out a new front page declaring Spider-Man's innocence, but also pays Peter a very large check. Peter is so happy that it worked out that he swings over to George Stacy's office and hands him the missing tablet. He doesn't hang around for questions though, in case George realises who he is. As Spider-Man swings around happy, thinking about all the different ways that he can spend his new money, a blur whizzes past him and snaps his web line, and suddenly he's falling. The blur belongs to Quicksilver, who runs down the wall to stop Spider-Man from dying, but finds that our hero has already saved himself, of course, swinging himself underneath an awning to hide. When Quicksilver finds him, he demands Spider-Man's surrender, that Quicksilver is here to apprehend the webhead, and the fight that entails when Spider-Man doesn't is one-sided. Spider-Man is fast, but Quicksilver is so much faster. Meanwhile, back at the hospital, Ned Leeds arrives with the latest edition of the Bugle, but isn't sure Jonah should see it. But Jonah Jameson, Jonah's son, encourages him, and so Jonah learns that his own paper, his own blasted paper, has declared Spider-Man innocent. And back with Spider-Man, and Quicksilver is whizzing around him, so fast to pull the oxygen away from our hero and make him pass out. But Spider-Man is able to survive for one last movement, and he times it just right to stick his arm out and knock the wind out of Quicksilver. But when the police arrive to arrest the two of them, Spidey carries Quicksilver to safety, up onto the rooftops. And so Quicksilver learns that maybe he's not as much of a villain as the press seems to think. And so Quicksilver leaves, and it seems that Peter's luck is on the up. Or it's just a lull before the storm. Thanks for watching and joining me on this journey to read every Spider-Man issue ever. If you're eager for more or want to support the channel and what I do, you can get early and exclusive episodes on Patreon, or by joining this channel. Next week, the Simple Surfer finds a new home, and we learn his origin. But until that issue, here's a fun fact about this one. You may be wondering what happened to Quicksilver, the Scarlet Witch and Toad after this story. Were they ever declared innocent? Well, they next appear in Avengers issue 75, after Quicksilver enlists the Avengers when Scarlet Witch and the Toad are kidnapped by Archon the Magnificent. An issue later, the Avengers rescue Wanda, but Toad is forgotten.